And once again, good evening, East Alabama and West Georgia, 8:07 p.m. Central on your Saturday evening. This is Saturday, December the 28th. 2024. Dr. Don in here with you with a quick update on what's happening with our weather across Alabama and back into Mississippi this evening as we're watching a fairly significant severe weather event unfold. We have multiple tornado warnings in the state of Mississippi, and all of that is moving in the general direction of Alabama. We'll show you where the storms are, where we think they're going to go, and how this situation will evolve over the next, 8 to 10 hours across Alabama and eventually into Georgia coming up here in just a moment. Wanted to show you the latest graphic from the National Weather Service. This is compiled from the information coming from the Storm Prediction Center out of Oklahoma, and they are showing us a pretty high risk of significant severe weather across extreme West Alabama. You'll see there in the red area, that's a 4 out of 5. That's almost as high as you will see in the state of Alabama, and that's primarily for the threat of significant tornadoes, which could cause some significant damage across Mississippi and into West Alabama. Then you have a level 3 that stretches all the way into central Alabama. Places like Birmingham, Clanton, and Chilton County down to about Selma or just west of Montgomery also stands a significant risk of severe thunderstorms, damaging winds, and perhaps a tornado or two. And then in East Alabama, or basically along and east of the I-65 corridor, we're looking at the possibility, a slight risk category of severe weather. We could see 1 or 2 tornadoes there as well. I wouldn't expect to see the large tornadoes that I think we're seeing unfold in Mississippi. But we could have some severe weather across East Alabama and West Georgia as well. I think the primary threat is going to be damaging straight-line winds of 70-plus miles per hour and maybe some large hail as well across East Alabama and West Georgia. And the timing in the Roanoke area, Valley, Lafayette, LaGrange, Carrollton, Alexander City. We're looking at between 2 a.m. and 7 a.m. Central. That would be 3 a.m. and 8 a.m. on the eastern side of the time zone. Again, all modes of severe weather are possible across East Alabama and West Georgia. I think, though, the better chances are going to be back further to the west across central Alabama and then all the way back to the Mississippi state line. So let's go ahead and take a look at the radar. There's a lot happening out there right now, and you can see all of those flashing red boxes back over in central Mississippi. All of those are tornado warnings. At one point, just a few moments ago, I counted 8 different tornado warnings ongoing across Mississippi, which is pretty significant. So we will go ahead and zoom in and see. And I think we've got a new tornado watch that has just been issued. And that new tornado watch is going to get into central Alabama. Let's see. It has not populated on the screen just yet, but I can tell you as we wait on that to happen that this watch is going to include the following counties in central Alabama: Autauga, Bibb, Blount, Chilton, Dallas, Fayette, Greene, Hale, Jefferson, Lamar, Lowndes, Marengo, Marion, Perry, Pickens, Shelby, St. Clair, Sumter, Talladega, Tuscaloosa, Walker, and Winston counties. Now, this is a brand new tornado watch that's in the process of being issued. It's for 22 counties in central Alabama, and it will be in effect until, let's see if we can get a time on that, 4 a.m. So this new watch is in effect until 4 a.m. Tomorrow morning, and it goes as far east as Talladega County in east central Alabama. There it goes. It's just populated on the screen. Let me stop the radar and bring it current, and there you can see that new tornado watch inside of that yellow line that you see on your screen. So Talladega and west, that gets the greater Birmingham area, it gets Tuscaloosa, it gets Prattville, just west of Montgomery, and then all the way back to the Mississippi state line. And then we also have a tornado watch that was issued earlier that covers southwest Alabama, places like Monroeville, all the way down to Pensacola, and then back into the Gulf Shores and Mobile area. And then we have the severe thunderstorm warnings and the tornado warnings that are underway back over in Mississippi. And quite honestly, the National Weather Service is issuing tornado warnings basically for every county along the leading edge of this line of thunderstorms. And just to the north of the tornado warnings, we have severe thunderstorm warnings. And to the south, we also have severe thunderstorm warnings. So we either have a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning for every single county along this line of thunderstorms from Oxford, Mississippi, all the way back down to New Orleans, Louisiana. That's a long way. A lot of active weather taking place along this line. We have tornado warnings now for places like Philadelphia, Mississippi, Forest, Mississippi, just to the west of Meridian, also just to the north and just west of Laurel, Mississippi, down to around Hattiesburg. Tornado warnings occurring there as well. Haven't seen a tremendous amount of reports as far as damage is concerned along this line. But we have seen ongoing tornado warnings now up and down this line for the last several hours across Mississippi. It's been extremely active over there. So what do we think is going to happen here? I think that the atmosphere is going to be conducive for these storms to continue producing severe thunderstorm warnings and perhaps even tornado warnings well into the state of Alabama. But I think as the storm front starts to approach the Birmingham, Montgomery area, I think we're going to start to see a weakening trend, and only because of the timing. This line of thunderstorms will be moving through East Alabama in the pre-dawn hours of your Sunday morning when the atmosphere is at its coolest. Now, having said that, we've got a warm front that's draped across Alabama back into Georgia, and that warm front is slowly drifting to the north and northeast, and if it passes your location and you get on the warm side of that front, then it increases your chances for significant weather as this line moves into East Alabama. So I think it's going to be a close call for East Alabama and West Georgia. But then as it migrates on into the state of Georgia, I think it passes Atlanta still in the cool stages. And then mid to late morning, as it gets into East Georgia, we could see this thing regenerate and go ahead and could possibly create some pretty significant weather over in East Georgia and Southeast Georgia. For you folks who watch up here in Northeast Georgia, again, I think 9 to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning will be the time frame when this storm system moves through Northeast Georgia. I think we're going to be too cool to have much in the way of severe weather. But again, it really all depends on whether or not the warm front makes it up into Northeast Georgia before the main cold front gets here. Not so sure it makes it that far north and northeast. So I anticipate a weakening line of storms as it crosses over I-65, probably somewhere in the 2 to 3 a.m. category time frame tomorrow morning. Still laying down some good thunder and lightning and gusty winds across East Alabama. I mean, this is not something you need to forget about. We've still got to keep an eye on this because right now it's extremely dangerous, and it will continue to be extremely dangerous until it isn't. And we just don't know exactly when that is going to occur, though I would expect it to be sometime after it crosses over the I-65 corridor. So if you're over here in West Alabama, anywhere from Montgomery west, anywhere from Birmingham west, you need to really be paying attention to what's going on. You folks who watch us across East Alabama and West Georgia, or if you're watching us from anywhere in the world tonight and you know people who live in West Alabama, even eastern Mississippi, go ahead and call them and make sure they're aware of this weather event because 99% of surviving severe weather is based off of being situationally aware and understanding what's going on around you so that you can take the appropriate action when those warnings are issued for your area. Know where your safe place is. It should be in the center of the lowest floor in your home and place of business. A closet, a restroom is a good idea, and you want to have items in that room to help protect you in the event that there is flying debris. And a good idea would be blankets, quilts, cushions off of your couch, mattresses such as from baby beds and futons, small mattresses. You want to make sure that you have protection for your head. A good idea there is batting helmets, football helmets, bicycle helmets. You want to make sure that you're fully clothed. You want to make sure you have on hard sole shoes, have a flashlight, make sure you keep your cell phone fully charged, and have some way of making a loud noise in that room with you in the event that rescue personnel need to try to locate you. A can of compressed air or a simple whistle is a very good idea to keep in that safe room space so that you can be discovered in the event that there is damage to your home. If you live in a mobile home, you need to have a plan to go somewhere else. This is not the type of weather you want to ride out in your mobile home. Now, if you're in East Alabama, then this storm system is still a ways off. There's no reason to evacuate a mobile home right now. But you do need to have a plan. Plan to go to a friend or family member's home, or even go to a business maybe that is open sometime during the night. That's safer than staying in a mobile home in this type of severe weather. And also understand, folks, it doesn't take a tornado to cause tremendous damage to your home. Damaging straight-line winds of 60, 70, 80 miles per hour can cause just as much devastation to your home as tornadoes do. A lot of folks, when they hear a warning come out, if it's not a tornado warning, they don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. And that would be a mistake. As a matter of fact, more damage is caused by straight-line wind in Alabama and Georgia than it is tornadoes. So you need to really pay attention to those tornado warnings as they are issued later on tonight across Alabama and the state of Georgia. Now, I will bring your attention to the fact that we do have showers and thunderstorms breaking out well ahead of the main line of storms. We see some storms up there along the I-65 corridor from Huntsville down to around Birmingham. And then we have a large area of mostly heavy rain now crossing over I-65 just south of the Monroeville or Greenville areas down there on I-65. We'll take you a little closer on this activity across north and central Alabama. None of this is severe at the moment, and it doesn't show any signs of going severe. Then we take you down a little bit closer to central Alabama. We've got some small but pockets of heavy rain just north of Clanton, also just north of Selma. And then there's that large area of heavy rain from Thomasville over to Greenville, down to Monroeville, and over toward Andalusia, and just north of Atmore. And it has just been storming down here in the Mobile area for the last several hours. We have very heavy rain over on the east side of the Mobile Bay now, Foley, Alabama, getting in on the action. Very heavy thunderstorms down there with a severe thunderstorm warning just north of Orange Beach and just northwest of Pensacola. But the main show is taking place over here in Mississippi, and it's basically happening at this hour from, we'll call it just southwest of Tupelo, down to Philadelphia, down to around Meridian, and then Laurel, Mississippi, down to Hattiesburg, and just to the east of Bogalusa. And we have thunderstorm warnings, really, all the way down to the New Orleans area. All of this is moving off to the east this evening, and will continue to move to the east toward Alabama, as we go throughout the evening, I'll draw some arrows here to kind of show you the motion that we're talking about with these storms. And you can see that we've got a long way to go. So be weather aware. Make sure you have multiple ways of receiving severe weather information. You want to make sure that you have a NOAA weather radio. You want to make sure you have a good app on your phone. A lot of folks are going to be going to bed tonight. You got to have a way to be alerted to severe weather warnings if you're going to go to bed. Never, ever, ever depend on outdoor warning sirens to wake you up or notify you if you're indoors. They're outdoor warning siren systems. They are not designed to notify you if you're indoors. Even if you typically can hear them indoors, you got to understand that at 3, 4 a.m. in the morning with heavy rain falling outside, thunder and lightning, you're in your bedroom and you're sound asleep, you're not going to hear that siren. So do not depend on that for your weather notification. If you have a mass weather notification system in your community, you need to make sure you're signed up for it. And if you haven't done that and you know it's there, go to their website and sign up for it. And most locations now, most counties have mass notification systems. Just go to your county website and look for emergency management, and you'll find information on how to sign up for your county's mass notification system. And then you'll receive it. You'll receive the weather information, and you'll also, as a bonus, receive local county information during times of severe weather and emergencies. So make sure you sign up for that. Make sure that when you go to bed tonight, if your phone is typically set up to be in do not disturb mode, make sure you turn that do not disturb mode off tonight. This would be a night that you do want to get woke up by notifications. If you haven't turned it off, your phone came already programmed to alert you when a tornado warning is issued for your county. That's through the WIA program from the federal government. If you have turned that off, then you need to go back in there and turn it back on tonight. You can turn it back off tomorrow if you don't want to get those Amber Alerts, but you need the WIA alerts turned on tonight before you go to bed. Whatever you do, folks, make sure you have a good way of receiving severe weather information during the overnight hours this evening so that you will know what's going on and so that you can protect yourself and your family and get them to your safe place in the event that severe weather does occur in your location. So that's kind of a quick update, and that's what we're looking at this evening for East Alabama, West Georgia, and the entire state. Let me go up to the chat room and see if there's any particular questions or comments. Charlotte's watching us from Columbus, Georgia. Ashley is in here this evening. There's the mayor of Dickard. Thank you, Miss Ellen Sims, for watching us this evening. We've got John watching us, advising everybody to stay safe. There's Barbie. Hey, Jimmy Scroggins, good to see you. There's Scott Smith. He's in a camper in Standing Rock. Scott, you'd be one of those folks I'm talking to. you would be one of those folks I am preaching to about having an alternate plan, have somewhere else to go, even if it's, a Waffle House or a Huddle House. I know they got a lot of glass, but that's still safer than staying in a camper in Rock Stand. So make sure that you have got somewhere else to go. I'm sorry, Standing Rock. Be sure you have somewhere to go if warnings start to pop up across, East Alabama. It's time to head somewhere else and get out of that camper. Which brings to mind you folks on West Point Lake, Lake Wedowee, even over on Lake Martin, down at Lake Harding. All of our area lakes across East Alabama, you got to have a plan to go somewhere else if we start to see severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. Once they start popping in central Alabama, it's time for you folks in East Alabama to seek shelter in a more sturdy building. Nicole is watching us in Auburn. Chris is watching us up in Huntsville. There's Kay asking about Cottonton, Alabama. In the entire state of Alabama will be affected by this line of thunderstorms. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're in the state of Alabama, you're going to be affected by these thunderstorms. There's no way for me to tell you exactly what's going to happen in your front yard, but I will tell you that there is a significant risk of severe weather across West Alabama, basically I-65 and west. There is a significant risk of severe weather, including very large and strong tornadoes. If you're along and east of I-65, all the way over into west central Georgia, there is still a risk of severe weather, though I don't think it's going to be as significant as what we're seeing in Mississippi right now and what we may see in West Alabama over the course of the next 2 to 3 hours or so. Kevin is watching us in Lawrence, South Carolina. Denny is watching us at Boondocks. Hey, Mr. Denny, I appreciate you guys telling everybody to be safe and watch Dr. Don's weather. I saw your post earlier, and I appreciate that. And by the way, we can start talking about our next visit to Boondocks, and that's going to be coming up in June. We do a hurricane party at Boondocks, and we'll be getting with Denny and the folks there at Boondocks over the course of the next couple of weeks, and we'll figure out exactly what date we're going to be there, and we'll let you know right here on Dr. Don's Weather. But be preparing for that, because we're going to come back to Boondocks and have a good time with Mr. Denny and all the fine folks at Boondocks. You guys need to stop by there, too, and enjoy some of that delicious ice cream and the food. My goodness, it's great. Let's see here. Let's see. Andrew watching us from Micahville. Kay, do you think it'll weaken before it gets to Heard County? Kay, I think it will. And the timing is primarily why, because the storms will be moving into East Alabama and West Georgia during the cool pre-dawn hours of Sunday morning. So the atmosphere will not have a tremendous amount of energy to work with at the surface. Now, there will be plenty of energy in the upper levels of the atmosphere, but my thinking, the meteorologists think the same way, and the models are suggesting that this line will be weakening as it moves into East Alabama and West Georgia. But I caution you, don't take that as the gospel and say there's nothing to worry about and go to bed and don't worry about it. Because there is that chance, and storms sometimes can overcome a cooled atmosphere if there's enough energy in the upper levels. And this potentially could be one of those cases. So even though I don't think it'll be as significant in East Alabama and West Georgia as what we're seeing in Mississippi right now, there's still a chance we could see, a handful of storms get out of hand. So you gotta be able to get those notifications. Very important in a setup like this one. Same thing for Valley, Alabama. Patricia's watching us in Newell. Let's see, Jane's watching us in Roanoke. Josh Caldwell up there in Ranburne, Alabama. Charlotte's watching us in Daviston. There's Remy Martin. No issues with the sound on this end, Remy. You may be having some buffering issues on your end. Check your internet on your end. We are screaming wide open up here tonight. Everything looks good. We have good internet. We have good audio. We have good video. Standing Rock, same thing as the rest of the state of Alabama, showers and thunderstorms. I think the worst of it will be west of you, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be on the lookout, because we could have some strong storms in Standing Rock as well. Ashley is hoping that it does weaken because she's in a mobile home right now in Standing Rock, close to where the tornadoes went through a few years ago. And I just went through Standing Rock Christmas morning, and you can still see signs of where that tornado came through that area. Ashley, make sure you have a plan to go somewhere safe. If warnings start to happen 2 or 3 counties to your west, it's time for you to go somewhere else other than a mobile home. Have a plan for that. Hey, Brandon. There's my buddy Adam. Pine Hill, Alabama. Lithia Springs in the house. Hey, Anita. Jason's watching in Rock Mills. Yeah, Jessica's like, can't we just get a little snow instead? We're working on that. We've got the whole month of January and February to go. Matter of fact, the 5 to 10 day, basically about the 10-day forecast is we're going to cool off significantly after about Thursday of this upcoming week. Day after New Year's, we should start cooling off. We may be looking at some significant cold for the next week or two, and there may be some moisture around. I'm not suggesting anything, but I think it may get a little interesting over the course of the next couple of weeks across the Southeast. Hey, Weather Tracker. Good, Ashley. I'm glad you have a plan. That's fantastic. That's exactly what you need to do if you live in a mobile home. Ashley has a plan. She has a friend with a basement just up the road, and they can go there if they need to. So you just stay tuned and be aware of the weather and go to that friend's basement. If you start seeing warnings pop up, back over maybe Elmore County, Coosa County, Alabama, if we go under tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings there, then it would be time. Excuse me. It would be time for you to then go ahead and head to your friend's basement. I've been battling this stuff now for about 2 weeks. It's been rough, but I feel much better. All right, Frog Eye, Alabama in the house. Hey, Miss Mary. Josh says it's extremely foggy and muggy. Yeah, I've noticed some fog advisories have just been put out as well for parts of Georgia and some parts of Alabama. So as things continue to warm up out there and this system gets closer to us, we're going to start seeing that fog get even heavier. So I want to bring to your attention that we have now got tornado warnings right along the Alabama-Mississippi state line. We'll go in and show you here. Meridian, Mississippi now under a tornado warning. So if you're traveling down I-20, I-59 in Alabama headed toward Meridian, you might want to make a little detour and get off the road and seek shelter until this line of storms passes through. They're literally warning for every county along this line, and we're talking tornado warnings. And I do see multiple indications of different spots along this line where we may actually have rotation taking place. So, again, we have tornado warnings all the way to the Alabama state line now, from central Mississippi all the way into right at the West Alabama line. So zooming back out and giving you a look at the overall picture of what's going on at this hour. Some pretty significant weather taking place over in eastern Mississippi, about to move into West Alabama. So I'm going to step aside and we will continue to watch this unfold off to our west. Quick update or reminder once again of this update. Brand new tornado watch is out now for north and central Alabama from the Tennessee state line all the way to the Florida state line. That includes places like Mobile, Monroeville. Doesn't include Montgomery yet, but it does just west of Montgomery. It does include Prattville and Autauga County. It includes Talladega west back through Greater Birmingham. It does include Coleman, and it includes Huntsville back west to the Mississippi state line. If you're in East Alabama, you're not under any watches or warnings at this hour, and the entire state of Georgia is clear from watches and warnings at this hour. But you can see what's happening back over in East Mississippi. All of that is moving toward Alabama. It will move across the state of Alabama into Georgia. As we go throughout the overnight hours, it will move in this general direction. You'll notice that storms up on the north end of this, not as significant. It's right along the central part of this line where we're getting all of the tornado warnings. And then we have severe thunderstorm warnings stretching all the way back down to almost down to New Orleans. So what we're thinking is going to happen is these storms are going to stay pretty hefty as they get into West Alabama, and then as they approach the Birmingham, Prattville, Montgomery area, we believe that these storms will be in a decaying mode, though they could still be very strong across central Alabama. And then as they move into East Alabama in the pre-dawn hours of your Sunday morning, they should be weakening. But again, they could still be strong when they move into East Alabama, and one or two of these storms could still be on the severe side, and one or two tornadoes will not be out of the question either across East Alabama and West Georgia, though I think the tornado threat's going to be much higher over here in West Alabama. In fact, I know it will be because it's ongoing right now. Then as the storms get into Georgia and maybe into central Georgia, we'll be talking at about around noon tomorrow, and then we start getting the heating of the day taking place, and this line may re-intensify as it moves into East Georgia and Southeast Georgia. By mid to late afternoon tomorrow, we could see some more severe weather there. I don't anticipate significant severe weather up in North Georgia, places like Helen, back over toward Blue Ridge, and even back in the direction of Chattanooga. I don't think we're looking at significant severe up there. But again, one or two storms could get out of hand there as well. West Georgia, East Alabama, we really got to keep an eye on this. But again, right this moment, I don't think we're looking at widespread severe weather in those areas I just mentioned. So we'll watch this for you. We'll be back with updates as we deem necessary. Once this line of storms gets into central Alabama, if we still have some tornado warnings going, then I'll come back and we will do live wall-to-wall coverage as this moves into East Alabama and West Georgia tomorrow morning. So until that time, be safe. Make sure that you're prepared for severe weather. Make sure you have a good source of severe weather information. And I'll see you in here a little bit later on Dr. Don's Weather. Thanks for watching.